March 2007. Antwerp, Belgium. Security guards at ABN AMRO Bank descend into the vault beneath the Diamond District. The steel door stands open. Inside, safety deposit boxes gape empty. $28 million in diamonds, gone. On the counter, investigators find something peculiar. Empty boxes of Belgian chocolates. Leonidas, Godiva. The same brands an elderly gentleman had been bringing to staff for 12 months. His name was Carlos Hector Flomenbaum, and he had just pulled off one of history's most elegant heists using nothing but charm, patience, and expensive candy. Antwerp's Diamond District occupies barely 1 square mile in the heart of Belgium, yet it processes over 80% of the world's rough diamonds. Every year, approximately $54 billion worth of gems flow through this single neighborhood. 4 exchanges, 1,500 companies, 35,000 professionals. This isn't just a market, it's the global epicenter of an industry built entirely on trust, secrecy, and paranoia. The district operates on a medieval principle. Reputation is currency. Deals worth millions are sealed with handshakes. Diamond parcels change hands on street corners. But beneath this veneer of old-world trust exists a security apparatus that would make military installations envious. ABN AMRO Bank stood as the crown jewel of this fortress. Located on Pelikanstraat, it wasn't merely a bank. It functioned as the central nervous system of the diamond trade. Dealers stored their inventory here. Cutters kept their raw stones here. Traders conducted their transactions here. The bank's vault held not just money, but the lifeblood of an entire industry. The security was obsessive. Visitors entered through reinforced airlocks. Bulletproof glass separated customers from staff. Biometric scanners verified identities. Motion sensors lined every corridor. The vault itself resided behind a 30-ton steel door manufactured in Germany. Its locking mechanism so complex that 3 separate managers needed to input codes simultaneously to open it. Inside the vault, safe deposit boxes lined the walls. Each box required 2 keys, one held by the bank, one by the client. The room operated under constant video surveillance. Temperature sensors detected body heat. Pressure plates measured weight distribution on the floor. Laser grids crisscrossed the air itself, invisible tripwires waiting for the slightest interruption. The Diamond District had weathered centuries of threats. Nazi occupation, armed robberies, organized crime syndicates. Yet ABN AMRO's vault had never been breached, not once. Security consultants studied its design. Insurance companies offered their lowest premiums. The banking industry considered it a model of impenetrability. But every fortress has a weakness. And ABN AMRO's weakness wasn't technological. It was human. Spring 2006, a year before the vault would be found empty. An elderly gentleman appeared at ABN AMRO's reception desk. Silver hair, meticulously groomed, expensive suit, but not ostentatious. Warm smile, polite demeanor. He introduced himself as Carlos Hector Flomenbaum, a diamond trader from Argentina. He needed to open a safe deposit box. Nothing unusual. The bank processed dozens of such requests weekly. Background checks revealed a clean record. His business credentials appeared legitimate. References checked out. Within days, Carlos Hector Flomenbaum became box holder number 138. But Flomenbaum did something peculiar. He visited frequently, not weekly, not monthly, nearly every single day. Most clients accessed their boxes sporadically. Dealers came during major transactions. Cutters appeared seasonally. But Flomenbaum arrived like clockwork, always mid-morning, always impeccably dressed, always carrying something, a distinctive gold box from Godiva, Belgium's most prestigious chocolatier. The first time he offered chocolates to the reception staff, they hesitated. Bank policy discouraged gifts, but these weren't lavish presents, just a small gesture, a praline here, a truffle there. And Flomenbaum never pushed. He simply smiled, opened the box, and if someone declined, he'd nod graciously and move along. The second week, more staff accepted. By the third week, they looked forward to his visits. Flomenbaum remembered names. He asked about children. He recalled birthdays. When a security guard mentioned his daughter's graduation, Flomenbaum arrived the next day with a special box of champagne chocolates. When a teller complained about back pain, he recommended a chiropractor, then brought sugar-free options because too much chocolate isn't healthy. He never discussed business, never pried into bank operations, never asked inappropriate questions. He was simply pleasant, a grandfather figure in a district dominated by intense negotiations and cold transactions. The bank manager, Jean-Pierre Lagasse, initially maintained professional distance, but Flomenbaum's consistency wore down barriers. 6 months into his daily visits, Lagasse found himself chatting with the old man about football, weather, restaurants. Normal things. Human things. The vault security guards, tasked with escorting clients to their deposit boxes, began to relax around him. Standard protocol required vigilance with all clients. But this was Carlos. Harmless Carlos. Carlos, who brought those incredible dark chocolate almonds. Carlos, who never caused problems, never complained about wait times, never made unreasonable demands. By winter 2006, Flomenbaum had achieved something remarkable. He'd become invisible. Not through stealth, but through familiarity. Security protocols remained unchanged on paper, but human nature had created an exception. When Carlos arrived, guards smiled instead of scrutinizing. Staff waved instead of verifying. He'd transformed from client to fixture. The chocolates kept coming. Always Godiva. Always fresh. Always offered with genuine warmth. Nobody questioned why a diamond trader needed to access his safe deposit box every single day. Nobody wondered why his visits followed such precise timing. Nobody thought to ask what exactly he kept in box number 138, because nobody suspects a man who brings chocolate. What security experts would later realize, Flomenbaum wasn't running a con. He was conducting a psychological operation with military precision. Every element had been calculated. The choice of Godiva wasn't random. Belgium takes chocolate seriously. Its cultural heritage, national pride. Offering cheap chocolate would have been insulting. Offering foreign chocolate would have seemed ignorant. But Godiva? That demonstrated respect, understanding, appreciation for Belgian culture. The timing of his visits mattered. Mid-morning meant staff had settled into their routines, but hadn't yet reached the afternoon fatigue that breeds irritability. He avoided Mondays when people were stressed, and Fridays when they were distracted. Tuesday through Thursday, optimal days for building rapport. The consistency created neural pathways. Human brains are pattern recognition machines. When the same pleasant stimulus appears repeatedly, the brain stops treating it as noteworthy. It becomes background, expected, safe. Flomenbaum understood this. Each visit reinforced the pattern. Elderly man, gold box, smile, small talk, departure, loop, repeat, condition. But beneath the charm offensive, Flomenbaum was gathering intelligence. He observed shift rotations, noted which guards worked which days, identified the veterans versus the newer hires, mapped out who took lunch breaks when, documented which managers had authority to access different areas. He studied the vault access protocol meticulously. 3 managers needed to input codes. He learned their names: Jean-Pierre Lagasse, Anne-Marie Dubois, and Victor Petrescu. He noted that Lagasse arrived earliest, usually by 8:15. A.M. Dubois came at 8:45. A.M. Petrescu, perpetually late, rushed in around 9:10 a.m. The vault opened at 9:30 a.m. sharp. The 3 managers would gather, input their codes in sequence, and the massive steel door would unlock with a pneumatic hiss that Flomenbaum could hear from the waiting area. He observed the key management system. Bank-held keys for deposit boxes hung in a secured room adjacent to the vault. Each morning, a senior teller named Patricia Vandenberg retrieved them, counted them against a checklist, then placed them in the access tray. The client keys remained with the box holders. Flomenbaum watched how guards escorted clients. Standard procedure: verify identity, confirm box number, retrieve bank key, walk client to vault, insert both keys, open box, step back exactly 3 meters to provide privacy while maintaining visual contact. The guard would stand at that precise 3-meter mark, often checking his phone, sometimes chatting with colleagues passing in the corridor. 3 meters. the distance that separated vigilance from vulnerability. He identified the security cameras, 12 in total. But cameras only matter if someone's actively watching. He noticed that the security office monitoring the feeds rotated staff every 4 hours. The afternoon shift, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., employed a guard named Marcus, who had a habit of reading newspapers. The screens would flicker in the background, unwatched for minutes at a time. Flomenbaum also discovered the bank's rhythm. Heavy traffic occurred during morning hours and late afternoon, but between 1:30 p.m. and 2:30 p.m., the building experienced a lull. Lunch breaks staggered the staff. Fewer clients, quieter corridors, less attention. The chocolates served another purpose beyond social engineering. They created a debt. Reciprocity is hardwired into human psychology. When someone gives you something, you instinctively want to give back. The guards couldn't offer diamonds or money, but they could offer something more valuable: complacency. A guard named Thomas once apologized for making Flomenbaum wait 15 minutes due to a backlog. "No problem at all," Flomenbaum had said, then added quietly, "Actually, would it be possible for you to hold on to the bank's key for my box? Just to save time when I visit? I'm here so often, and you're always so busy." Thomas hesitated. Policy strictly forbade it. But this was Carlos. Reliable Carlos. Carlos who'd brought those incredible hazelnut pralines last week. And it would save time, make everyone's job easier. "Just between us," Thomas had said, pocketing the key. One key, one small violation of protocol, one crack in the fortress. By January 2007, Flomenbaum had mapped every vulnerability. He knew the staff schedules better than the managers did. He understood the security gaps. He'd identified the precise moment when the building would be most exposed. And he had something more valuable than any blueprint: trust. The vault that had never been breached wasn't protected by steel and lasers anymore. It was protected by people. People who smiled when he arrived. People who looked forward to Friday because Carlos brought the special dark chocolate collection. People who'd stopped seeing a potential threat and started seeing a friend. The chocolates had cost him approximately $12,000 over 12 months. A small investment for a $28 million return. December 2006, 2 months before the heist. Flomenbaum's daily visits had become invisible routine. Now came the technical phase. The challenge: accessing the vault's master key system undetected. A BN AMRO system required the bank's master key plus the individual client key. But a third element existed: the emergency override protocol. For deceased box holders or legal seizures, a master override key held by senior management could open any deposit box when combined with authorization codes. Flomenbaum learned this from Jean-Pierre Lagasse during casual conversation. "We have the override system, but the paperwork is nightmarish," the manager had complained. The override key resided in a small safe on Lagasse's desk, 4-digit code. Flomenbaum had observed Lagasse opening it dozens of times. The finger pattern: top row, middle, bottom, middle. 2585. Lagasse's desk calendar displayed his daughter's birth date, May 25th, 1985. People always use memorable numbers, but knowledge wasn't enough. Flomenbaum needed physical access to duplicate keys. Modern keys require the original present for several minutes to create accurate copies. The solution: the Christmas holiday, December 22nd, 2006. The bank's annual staff party. Minimal security, festive atmosphere, lowered vigilance. 3 weeks earlier, Flomenbaum had accidentally left his box key with Thomas, the guard who'd already bent protocol. "I'm so forgetful," he'd said. "Could you keep it safe?" Thomas placed both keys in the secured room's key tray. Standard procedure for lost keys awaiting retrieval. On December 22nd, while champagne flowed at the staff party, a figure in a maintenance uniform entered through the service entrance. Security footage showed someone with face obscured, carrying cleaning supplies. Timestamp: 7:43 p.m. The figure moved with purpose to the key room. The lock yielded in 40 seconds. Inside, he removed his client key and the bank's master key for box 138. Then he accessed the reserve keys, backups for every deposit box. A moldable clay bar created perfect negative impressions. Box 138, Box 139, Box 140. 15 boxes total. 15 impressions in under 4 minutes. Keys returned. Exit through service entrance. Total time inside, 9 minutes. The security guard monitoring cameras had stepped away to join the party for exactly 12 minutes. 2 days later, Christmas Eve, Flomenbaum visited a specialized locksmith in Brussels. Antique cabinet keys, he explained. Family heirlooms. The locksmith produced perfect duplicates within 3 days. Flomenbaum now possessed keys to 15 deposit boxes that weren't his, but keys alone wouldn't grant vault access. He still needed to bypass the 3-manager code system that unlocked the main vault door each morning, unless he changed his timing entirely. The weekend. Antwerp's Diamond District empties. Offices close. Streets quiet. But for trusted clients of ABN AMRO Bank, weekends offered opportunity. Flomenbaum had achieved something remarkable during his year-long charm offensive: VIP status. The bank granted select diamond traders, those deemed utterly trustworthy, electronic pass cards for unrestricted vault access. These clients could enter during off hours, weekends, even holidays. No supervision required, no escorts necessary. The system relied entirely on trust. Carlos Hector Flomenbaum had earned that trust. Friday, March 2nd, 2007. Flomenbaum entered the bank using his VIP access card. Security cameras captured him walking calmly through the corridors. He proceeded directly to the vault area, housing uncut diamonds. He was the last person to visit the vault room that day. What happened during those hours remains partially unclear. No closed-circuit television, heat monitor, light or seismic sensor or motion detector disclosed any dangers to vault deposits during the perpetrator's last days at ABN AMRO. The $2 million security system designed to detect intrusions registered nothing unusual. Monday morning, March 5th, Flomenbaum was the first to enter the vault. He greeted staff with his characteristic warmth. "Good morning," he called out cheerfully. Staff smiled back. Carlos, dependable as always. He exited several hours later, walked out through the main entrance, disappeared into the Antwerp streets. Nobody suspected anything. Not until the owners of 5 specific safe deposit boxes attempted to access their holdings. The boxes were empty. 120,000 carats of diamonds. Gone. Worth approximately $28 million. The stolen inventory included 41 blue brilliant diamonds, 2 pear-shaped green diamonds, and a 133-carat uncut diamond, a stone so distinctive it would be nearly impossible to sell through legitimate channels. The stolen diamonds were owned by 8 Antwerp-based diamond trading companies and given as pledges to bank loans. Entire businesses had just lost their collateral, their working capital, their future. The investigation launched immediately. Security footage was reviewed, but Flomenbaum had been careful. No surveillance system caught complete views of the customer calling himself Carlos Hector Flomenbaum. Detectives interviewed staff. Everyone described the same person: charming, generous, trustworthy. The man who brought chocolates. The friendly businessman who never caused problems. Some bank employees cast Flomenbaum as coming in late March 2nd and early March 5th, calling out "good morning" and "good evening," and never coming back. Within days, investigators discovered the truth about Carlos Hector Flomenbaum. A passport in that name was stolen in Israel a few years ago. The real Flomenbaum had reported it missing in 2001. The man they'd trusted for a year didn't exist. The United States government shared the names Eliezer Mashali and Yehuda Mashali after viewing the police composite sketch. The real identity: Yehuda Mashali, a career criminal with a history of diamond thefts across continents. But Mashali had vanished. No forwarding address, no professional contacts in Belgium. Employees described Flomenbaum as doing everything on his own, did not know his address, and never discerned him anywhere alone or in company outside the bank. The perfect ghost. A man who'd existed only within the bank's walls, sustained entirely by chocolates and charm. And the diamonds 120,000 carats representing years of mining, cutting, trading, had disappeared with him. March 12, 2007. 1 week after the heist, Dominique Renier, Antwerp prosecutor's spokesperson offered that the person who delivers the golden tip can expect a reward of 2 million euros, a massive sum. Desperation masked as incentive. Belgian authorities circulated a composite sketch. Staff listed bushy eyebrows, clean-shaven face, dilated pupils, and gray hair under a dark baseball cap for a gentleman 6 feet tall. They mentioned an age of 55 to 60 years, an unspecified American speech pattern in English, and no known physical address or professional acquaintances in Belgium. The sketch traveled internationally. Interpol distributed it. Diamond industry networks shared it. Someone, somewhere, had to recognize this face. The United States government shared the names Eliezer Mashali and Yehuda Mashali after viewing the police composite sketch. Finally, a real identity. FBI databases revealed a career criminal with decades of experience. Yehuda Mashali wasn't a novice. The Chicago Tribune, September 29, 1998, had the aliases Sam Gatz and Sam Goods for 46-year-old suspect Yehuda Mashali. Ross Rice, Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI spokesman, identified Mashali as a bank robber in custody in New York City and a diamond thief in Illinois. His criminal resume stretched back decades. The Arizona Republic Online Archives keep a news article from November 22, 1981, about 30-year-old Yehuda Mashali of Los Angeles, California, Phoenix, Arizona, and Miami Beach, Florida. The Arizona Republic news article listed Mashali's indictment for conspiring to transport and transporting 36 stolen Hitachi videotape recorders valued at $36,000 from Fairchild, New Jersey. And diamonds had been his specialty. The FBI jailed Mashali September 28, 1998, for jimmying 46 diamonds worth $513,292. September 13, 1996, from 5 First Star Bank boxes at 30 North Michigan Avenue. Chicago. Different continent. Same methodology. But knowing his identity didn't reveal his location. April 4, 2007. A breakthrough. Israeli citizen Eliezer Mashali was arrested in Frankfurt last week as he sought to leave the country. Antwerp Prosecutor's Office spokeswoman Dominique Reynier said, a suspected accomplice. Belgian officials said they would seek Mashali's extradition. Hope flickered. Perhaps Eliezer would lead them to Yehuda. Perhaps he knew where the diamonds were hidden. But the investigation stalled. The 2-plus-year Antwerp ABNAMRO bank diamond heist investigations and proceedings turned up nothing against the extradited Eliezer Mashali and something against the vanished Yehuda Mashali. Non-existent confessions, evidence, and eyewitnesses prompted investigators, judges, and prosecutors to proceed no further against Eliezer Mashali as Antwerp ABNAMRO bank diamond heist suspected accomplice. Wrong man. Dead end. The real perpetrator had dissolved into air. March 30th, June 22nd, and October 18th, 2007, qualified as correctional court dates, even though the heist dates quick-started the last recollected sightings of Yehuda Mashali. Court proceedings without a defendant. Justice performed for empty chairs. October 18th, 2009, more than 2 years after the theft. Criminal court proceedings that ran from October 18, 2009, resulted in Yehuda Mashali's convictions in absentia and sentenced to a 5-year prison term as main perpetrator. A conviction without custody. A sentence without imprisonment. Legal theater. The diamonds, 120,000 carats representing millions in trade value, had vanished as completely as their thief. Investigators, judges, and prosecutors say that Antwerp ABNAMRO bank diamond heist loot should be difficult to sell without Kimberley Process certified origins outside African war zones. Difficult, not impossible. Yehuda Mashali understood the diamond trade intimately. He'd operated within it for decades across multiple continents. He knew the legitimate channels, which meant he also knew the illegitimate ones. Black markets, underground networks, buyers who asked no questions about provenance. Somewhere in the world, those 120,000 carats entered new supply chains. Recut, repolished, recertified. Diamonds are carbon, indistinguishable from any other carbon arranged in the same molecular structure. Without serial numbers or DNA, tracking them becomes impossible. The chocolate boxes remained in the break room for weeks after the heist. Nobody wanted to touch them. Eventually, they were disposed of as evidence. Fingerprints lifted. DNA swabbed. Nothing useful recovered. Carlos Hector Flomenbaum, the name, the persona, the charming elderly businessman, had been a performance. A year-long theater production with bank employees as the unknowing audience. And when the curtain fell, the actor simply walked off stage. To this day, Yehuda Mishali has never been found. The diamonds have never been recovered. And somewhere, perhaps, an elderly man with gray hair occasionally thinks about the taste of Belgian chocolate.